Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us today. This is another DXC Tech Town Hall. Really excited today to be with you. It's a big day for us. We've spent since we became DXC putting together our views of the future. We call these our Horizon White Papers. Is to help align our partners and our clients and our employees towards a common view of the future. Now, today's going to be about today is one of the key themes that we're just hearing about over and over again, and that's operate your business in the cloud, driver towards cloud as a common operating model, but moreover, how do we begin to execute in this hybrid landscape? As we move into that, I'd really like a special guest today. One is Eugene O'Callaghan. Eugene is our general manager for our cloud and workload platform team, CTO and a former HPES EDS fellow. And together, they are helping to lead so many of our clients. So as we move into this model, what becomes really important is that this is a DXC Tech Talk for those of you who haven't been on it, and what we're at the very, very beginning of the session, and then we move on to the second half hour on the crowd chat platform, getting a timeline conversation set across multiple social media outlets. And so what you're going to see, right, is that we're at the tail end, and then this whole recorded video conversation, this Hangout, is going to be placed up in YouTube for subsequent. So, Heather, how about moving us back to that second slide for me? Thank you. Today, paper series for those of you in our partner community and our staff. Achieve digital. Help value out of digital, becoming a digital enterprise, a 21st century enterprise as you reshape your products, your services, your strategies, but overall driving productivity in both top line and bottom line improvement for the enterprise so we can enterprise the disruptions that are naturally occurring. We are furthermore kicking off later this week to Get It Done campaign, these papers, where we are beginning to promote how to move digital and the evidence of success things that we have through the incremental failures that we do have going through this process. Because after all, I think just as important as what to get right and what we do instead. And so we're going to be doing that. So let's jump into operating your business in a cloud as a cloud. We've been working around the clouds for a long time. We've really begun to recognize that there's massive business agility that comes from the self-service basis that in environment. And many people have, for a long time, kind of denigrated IT because their pace did not match the pace that the developer wanted with respect to the portfolio. And what we do know is that public clouds are invading. We've all have private clouds today, and we oftentimes need to begin to understand that landscape a little bit better. And for me, it comes down to a fairly important piece of insight. Data has gravity, and data has gravity because there is so much of it coming out. It has a lot of weight just in its volume and its velocity. And as businesses have moved more and more to the digital-driven devices, driven by Internet of Things, driven by a partner and ecosystem performance versus in-company performance, that naturally suggests that data is originating outside of the enterprise. More data than originates inside the data center, inside the enterprise. So we have an inclination towards hybrid cloud, in which there are private data centers, which really process the information that to interact with the public cloud. And then much larger public cloud estates that are interacting with the IoT fields, with the even your as-a-service partners, your Salesforce.com, your Workdays, your Oracle Clouds. I'm sure I'm leaving lots of people out. And what that's going to do is reduce your network latency, reduce your network bandwidth requirements, and the execution will continue to be in this style. And then lastly are probably the emergence of two really critical features for most enterprises. The first feature is infrastructure as a service as a primary vector of operation. Certainly that continues to allow virtual machine or an instance of the OS by the instance of the OS with you into this new agile environment, but more and more we're beginning to see these platforms, whether they're OpenShift or Cloud Foundry or Kubernetes or Microsoft Container Services or even Amazon Lambda, right? We begin to think differently our applications into small processes, which are aggregated through standard APIs. And this microservices layer we'll talk about later in our application business at a later town hall. Actually, we just did it at the last town hall, so it'll probably be 2 or 3 more before we get back to it. But this is changing the way that business is operating and even a higher affinity towards hybrid clouds. And then the last one is the governance. I do believe that enterprise architects have the opportunity to take back control with a governance platform across their PaaS and IaaS capabilities to really begin to maintain control of what I believe to be a much more secure environment, because these create a style for us. So with that, I'm going to transfer over to Eugene to talk a little bit about what DXC is doing in the hybrid cloud space. So,
thanks, Dan. Let's unpack a little bit the business challenges that come with hybrid cloud. Our clients are really faced with a number of fairly stark business challenges. And again, at DXC, we rally around the CIO as our primary client. For the CIO, there's really 2 tremendous forces acting, and the CIO is right in the middle of that. On the one hand, the CIO has to deliver secure, reliable operations for their existing environment at a lower cost year after year. And every CIO has those existing environments with traditional delivery models, data center management, multiple licensing models, refresh cycles, mainframe systems, distributed systems. So there's a set of complexity that he or she has to deal with every single year. At the same time, the business is digitizing for each one of our clients. In those industries closest to consumer, they're digitizing the fastest. The CIO will either enable that digitization for the business or be bypassed. And there's a tremendous set of dynamics associated with that. So really the CIO is right in the middle of that dynamic. Those business challenges lead to a set of IT challenges for the CIO and their team. How does the CIO focus on a set of business outcomes given all of that complexity? How does the CIO rationalize their application portfolio and transform their application portfolio to cloud? Security and securing the enterprise, a tremendous prerogative for the CIO in the midst of that transform to hybrid journey. Again, if the CIO is both operating an existing environment and enabling a digitization for the business, how does the CIO integrate that end-to-end between those 2 worlds, effectively between a mode 2 and a mode 1 world, and deliver a secure, reliable hybrid IT environment across both? Again, there'll be a huge emphasis to take out costs and to transform from a CapEx to an OpEx model. And a typical challenge faced that CIO also in IT challenges, help me empty my data center. So these are some of the business challenges and IT challenges that we see. And Jim Miller and I now would like to talk through a little bit of the DXC strategy to address those. Jim, would you like to start?
Thanks, Eugene. We have a two-pronged strategy to address the business and IT challenges that Eugene spoke about. The first area is transform with a purpose. We want to help our customers transform their IT and business environments by either rehosting, re-architecting, retiring some old applications, or replacing applications and services with new cloud-native approach so that they can move quickly to address their business challenges and also lower their overall IT costs while transforming to that new digital environment. Our goal is to provide a landing zone for the various applications and services, depending on the style of workload, the features and functions of that workload, so that it is run in the place that makes the most sense for it and provides the most flexibility and scalability to meet those business challenges, so that IT is no longer holding back the business, but enabling it to get to the goals and deliver that value to the end customers. IT will become a broker of services. Those services can be infrastructure as a service, software as a service, platform as a service, or even business process as a service. So IT provides that focal point to enable those various functions, be able to select those functions for the business challenge, and enable that digital journey. And of course, our partnerships are key to delivering that journey to digital, whether that be AT&T for our networking partner, Microsoft and AWS from a platform perspective and a public cloud perspective, Oracle and SAP for software as a service and digital platforms to enable those business processes. And no journey is complete without looking at the traditional environment that many of our customers have at the moment. Our approach to that is to introduce automation to help lower the overall costs of a traditional ITO environment, but also improve the service levels and deliver new features and functions even in a traditional environment at a much faster pace, so that the business again can adjust, react, and scale to the various challenges of a digital environment. And of course, security goes without saying. It's a significant challenge in the hybrid environment in that the security processes, tools, and procedures must span the multiple environments and platforms. Those range from a traditional ITO environment through a private cloud environment, whether that private cloud runs in a DXC data center or in a client's own data center, all the way through the public cloud environment, with many of our customers running applications and using SaaS components in multiple private clouds at the same time. In order to help reduce costs and improve services in the traditional environment, IT hygiene is an absolute must. So we maintain their operating systems, database, middleware currency to help host those legacy applications and also introduce those IT hygiene functions into the private and public cloud environment. So as our customers proceed along their journey to digital, the transition to a cloud-native environment and DevOps enabling that environment are absolutely critical, so that our customers can introduce new services, new functions, new applications on a continuous basis and on a very, very rapid basis with no interruption to the business, so that their customers, clients, and users see those new functions immediately and they can advance on their digital journey while IT is providing that platform or foundation to enable that piece of the business. So our goal is essentially twofold in summary. One is to lower the overall costs of IT services, improve the efficiency of those IT services, while enabling that path forward to deliver digital solutions to our customers And those digital solutions will come from a hybrid cloud environment that includes private cloud and multiple public cloud environments. Our intent is to also provide various platforms to our end users. And one of those platforms is SAP. Our offering for enterprise services on demand for SAP helps customers establish an SAP environment, take advantage of flexing that environment to scale up and down, to launch new SAP environments for dev and test, and also to launch new SAP environments very, very quickly to enable new portions of the business, to accommodate acquisitions, and flex the business to adjust to the changing business environment. And with that, I'll turn it back to Eugene for some closing comments on our approach.
Yeah, I think it's worth, Jim, I really appreciate that. I think it's worth just talking a little bit more about our partners. You know, for example, our managed services for Azure, which goes to its second release later this summer, you know, we're launching that capability pre-integrated with ServiceNow for automated client request handling. You know, we use a wide range of the Microsoft Azure resource management templates for full stack automated provisioning as well. Microsoft OMS for analytics, and CrowdStrike and others for security capabilities there. So we're focused very much on leaning hard into our key partners. Microsoft, as an example, of course, we will be one of the launch partners for managed services for Azure Stack as that becomes GA'd later in the year as well. You know, similar for AWS. You know, our managed service for AWS capability comes pre-integrated with ServiceNow. You know, we use the CloudFormation templates again for full stack automated provisioning with AWS, and AWS Systems Manager for automated backup, patch management, and system configuration. I use these as examples just because it's important, you know, with our delivery model, that one, we leverage the capabilities and innovation that's there today from our partners, and two, we integrate IP from DXC into that operational model. We operate a cloud ops model with extreme levels of automation for all of our cloud offerings. You know, this cloud ops model is available today for managed services for AWS and Azure, as well as our SAP capabilities. And with that, you know, we design from operations day one, design for operations from day one. In our product owners working very closely with our operational automation teams, basically deliver those cloud services as code, infrastructure as code, and then automate that the whole way through the pipeline automation capability. So just a couple of key examples on what we're doing with our partners. Jim, are there others that you'd care to mention as well?
Yeah, I'd like to also add our hardware partners are key to our hybrid cloud environment, whether that be Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, Dell EMC, or Lenovo. We rely heavily on our partner engineering components to provide a VMware-based environment for our hybrid cloud customers. That VMware-based environment has a foundational component of a hyper-converged or a converged hardware environment, which helps us deliver faster, deliver high-quality environments that scale easily to meet the needs of our customers. So our hardware partners are very critical to our strategy to work with our customers from a digital transformation perspective.
Yeah, I just want to lean in. I think there's a speed, but it also gives us standard, right? And I really want to lean in on standards. So, you know, what Eugene talked about with respect to consist with the ServiceNow ITSM layer, with the infrastructure as code catalogs that are really the digital recipes that allow us these hybrid environments and deploy workloads against them. When we talk about our converged infrastructure or stack providers who are giving us the structure every time. What we're really doing is allowing automation to play in, because you have these, know that the one of the challenges for IT is this notion of consistent target, and we're getting closer and closer now with VMware moving to consistent operating environments. We know that the PASs that are becoming available are giving us a consistent target versus. We know that the work that we're doing around even OpenStack is giving us a much more consistent target than it ever did. And all of these, both a scale and what we call day one, which is the ability to consistently instantiate capability quickly and then consistently deliver the updates, upgrades, and improvements in a way that our clients can accept this minimal amount of human error and a maximum amount of continuous innovation. The ability to constantly bring new features and functions to a target environment rather than many clouds that end up becoming stranded post day one in their current state configuration. And so, certainly one of the things, Jim, that I know you guys are doing, right, is finding ways to continually apply security patch, continually bring larger service catalogs to clients that really give pace, but also ROI. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think automation is key for us. Provisioning a virtual machine is relatively easy with today's technology, but the automation required to make that virtual machine usable for developers and usable for the end user community is significant. And we're approaching that very aggressively to harden that VM environment, integrated with the operational capabilities and the cloud ops function, so that from an operations perspective, we can patch the environment, we can run it seamlessly in a hybrid environment, to provide that level of services and consistency needed to support the business, keep them compliant, keep them secure, and keep them operational, whether that be in a controlled environment, where a heavy compliance environment. We're there to help our customers get there and use automation to do that.
Yeah, and I think, Jim and Dan, the whole VMware space is a great example of that. The way we've partnered with VMware to basically encapsulate all of our automation IP with VMware and separate that from the underlying hardware environment. So we run the most automated private cloud environment on the planet, most highly secure as well. And our ability to do ongoing release management of those automation flows in that private cloud environment is a real differentiator. And of course, we know many of our clients are now looking at PaaS as the next abstraction layer. So and that's an example of where we're partnering with Red Hat for enterprise grade container management, based on industry standard Docker and Kubernetes there. And we'll enable the further level of abstraction for many of our clients with OpenShift PaaS services for cloud native application development and deployment there. So, but all of it for us automated, infrastructure as code presented to those clients who want to consume it via an API. Obviously, we'll have clients also who want to consume via a portal.
And for many of our customers, containers and container management is a new concept. While it's not new in the industry, it's very new for them from an operations perspective. And we are helping our customers along that journey to better take advantage of containers and container management and help them operate it in a seamless environment and also in a secure environment, so that they can reap the benefits of using containers from a DevOps perspective to introduce new functionality at a rapid rate to meet the needs of the business.
All right, so let me try to wrap up. I continue to have bandwidth challenges here. What are we talking the hybrid cloud being a requirement, data gravity being a key driver, clouds being more secure, fundamentally begin to compartmentalize in a way that's hard for traditional IT and the fortress security model that is now no longer relevant in today's day and age of APT. We talked about clouds that scale from the biggest, baddest enterprise apps with SAP and Oracle and others, all the way down to microservices with consistency. We talked about the manageability with the increased consistency of infrastructure as code and DevOps and consistent styles. And we talked about evergreen innovation that these consistent cloud plans begin to give us. At the end of the day, I think our clients are looking for probably two things, or three things. One is an OpEx business model, so we can scale the costs as they work. Two is the agility, which is capacity on demand, so that they can constantly add virtual machines without waiting. And I really do believe an improved security posture for the enterprise, because each developer, each project, and that container begins to create some isolation around the underlying information. I think all of those things begin to drive our clients. What DXC is doing in the cloud environment with the hybridization should give our clients a lot of scale, which is to say that $1 invested with us, if we have 10 clients on the common platform, gives them a much better return on investment. The $1 invested to that scale is really important. I know we've had network challenges today, so my apologies, but thank you all for staying with us. I'm going to thank Eugene and Jim. They'll be with me in crowd chat, but this is my chance to, do it verbally. Let's TechTalk. Next week, in 2 weeks, we will be doing the next crowd chat and NoConved about continuous optimization of enterprise processes. The belief that yes is critical, but we also believe that unlocking even more of that front-end value comes from reducing evidence mismatch between the front-end processes and the legacy back-end processes through the massive ability to refactor enterprise processes for speed and machine learning. So we're going to talk a lot about that. But let's go over to our DXC Tech Talk, right? DXC Tech Talk, right? See you soon.